Okay, first it was Metroid Dread and its disrespect, then it was Shin Megami Tensei 5 and IGN and that entire debacle there, and now, I guess it's probably going to be a theme moving forward, it's now Pokemon Legends Arceus' turn to be disrespected and for me to call out all the BS that is just being thrown out there for what a great Pokemon game this game is. And so welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, where apparently for some of you I'm gonna have to tell you to go touch grass and live out the real world instead of just blatantly going off and throwing hands for no real reason because of a video game here. And as much as you want to say that, oh, aren't you technically doing the same thing? No, I am not. I am just kind of like calling it out for what it is, and in this case, with the disrespect of Pokemon Legends Arceus, there's a lot of disrespect that even happened during its announcement and then up until this point in time. And so of course, before we get to the elephant in the room here, I do want to talk about the lesser things here in terms of the disrespect of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and that is obviously IGN reviewing it, a couple others saying that it is a bad game, saying it is a bad Pokemon game, it is a very empty Pokemon game, and so because of that, they docked points off of it. Meanwhile, they've given like 10s out of 10s of plenty of other open world games that are just as empty, just as lifeless as Pokemon and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're trying to give a better score to Sword and Shield and give a bad score to Pokemon Legends Arceus, then that shows that you clearly didn't have some objective truth to it, because clearly, from an objective standpoint, Pokemon Legends Arceus has the better battle system, has the better gameplay. It offers a lot more in terms of quality of life and in terms of traversal and exploration than did Pokemon Sword and Shield. So if you're giving Pokemon Sword and Shield a higher score than that of Pokemon Legends Arceus, clearly you're not doing your job right, or you're just very biased in certain aspects, in which case, well, you're killing gaming journalism as a whole. But yeah, IGN, I gotta call you guys out for what it is, because I mean, you kind of give the same thing with Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire by giving it a low score simply because it had too much water. What does that even mean? And of course, yes, there are a bunch of respectable opinions when it comes to Pokemon Legends Arceus, but there are others where they literally will just do posting an image, much like the tree image with Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they've done it with the lake, and I've stated on another video on that before, and they'll just say, oh, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a bad game, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, I can literally give you plenty of footage that I've had of my journey in Pokemon Legends Arceus and blatantly tell you, no, that is not the case, because Pokemon Legends Arceus, from a graphical standpoint, is an amazing Pokemon game. It truly lives up to its potential. It truly does what it can. Yes, there are some frame rate issues, but that is something that's very minor. It's something that it's barely noticeable, and if you notice it, it's just a nitpick stuff. It's very nitpicky. It does not absolutely, hinder your ability to play the game, and it's just a good game. It's a good game to explore overall, regardless of what other people say, but we're not done with that yet. And of course, it's now to address the elephant in the room, and this is where it's gonna make this video way longer than it should, and that is the fact that someone decides to make content off of the game, call it trash, and then continue to further make content on the game, not to call it trash, but simply to give guides on a game that's trash, and you're basically saying, hey, don't buy this game, even though you're giving content that technically says, yes, go buy this game, and kind of prove myself wrong and right at the same time, whatever it is. Point is, for those that know, you know what I'm talking about, and for those that know, calling this game a dishonest game is wrong. What was showcased in the commercials, what was showcased in the direct, what was showcased in the gameplay presentations is exactly what the final product is. If the reason you're calling this a dishonest game is mainly because you just don't know how to understand the mechanics of this game, and everything that you've complained for the past 17 minutes led up to nothing. It just led up to blatant content for the sake of clout and nothing more. And so, by calling this a dishonest game, you're making yourself feel stupid and dishonest. I am just saying it right here. Secondly, simply because you don't want to read through 5 minutes of dialogue that's kind of addressing the story, and say what you will about the story, about the idea of the almighty Sinnoh and all that kind of stuff that supposedly, hinders all of what Pokemon is meant to be, which kind of like null and voids the entire history of Sinnoh and all that kind of stuff. No, it doesn't. If anything, we had no idea what Sinnoh was about, or any region. This is the first Pokemon game that honestly gives more background to a region than ever before without the need of having to go to a library and find it out on our own. And yes, say what you will about the massive amount of dialogue and the massive amount of cutscenes, interruptions, and all that kind of stuff, it's an RPG. You're playing an RPG. You're bound to have a bunch of cutscene interruptions in any RPG you play to. Literally, I've played Digimon Cyber Sleuth and almost every 10 minutes it's a cutscene, but I've enjoyed it. And the same thing with Pokemon Legends. It's an RPG thing. And if you're calling Pokemon Legends Arceus trash simply because you don't want to read and you don't want to go through 5 minutes of dialogue, then clearly you've never touched an RPG in your entire life, or you just never understood the mechanics of what makes RPGs great to begin with, and that is the fact that it's taking you a step back before you continue on and doing what you want to do in its own open world. Also, another thing about the disrespect with Pokemon Legends Arceus is the fact that the battle system doesn't make any sense, and clearly you've also never played Digimon Cyber Sleuth, because the moment I saw the battle system that Pokemon Legends has in place, it's trying to do a Digimon Cyber Sleuth in the sense that whatever move you decide to make will either give you an extra turn or two, maybe depending on what you did right with the agile and strong style, or it will screw you over because you clearly did not strategize. And this is something that Pokemon has been lacking for the almost 5 to 10 years now with Generation 6, and I'm very, very happy that this implementation of the battle system is where it's going. And simply by saying that it is a garbage system, simply because you're not trying to take a step back and think for even a second, you're just playing a very dishonest game on a game where it has told you everything it needed to tell you before you clicked send or purchase game on the Nintendo eShop. And then lastly, and this is the most important one that I want to end things off with, and that is the fact that you're calling Pokemon Legends Arceus a game that doesn't exist. And let me tell you something. It is understandable if this game was a spin-off game in the sense of like it's trying something new and all that kind of stuff. Like, yes, fine, whatever. You can say the game doesn't exist because whatever, it doesn't try to innovate Pokemon or whatever, it's trying to do its own thing. But Legends here is different. You wanna know why? Because it's still a mainline Pokemon game, but it's trying to do what Generation 5 was supposed to do for the rest of Pokemon since its debut, and that is adding a story implementation, adding character development, adding a story that matters in the context of the Pokemon world, in this case Hisui, and its backstory to how it eventually became the Sinnoh region. And say what you will about those saying that, oh, but you didn't have to know about Hisui at all to know the backstory of Sinnoh and all that kind of stuff. In a way, you're right, but in a way, you also have to understand that Pokemon Legends Arceus is also the foundation of what Generation 9 is going to be about. So by saying that this game is not meant to exist and it shouldn't exist at all, you're basically saying that Sword and Shield is the perfect start towards Generation 9, and that Game Freak is not going to listen to its fans and is not going to try to improve on what Pokemon is supposed to be for the past 25 years. Simply by saying that it doesn't exist, you're negating the fact that we're one step closer to actually getting a good and even better Pokemon since Pokemon Black and White. And as much as I hate the fact that, oh, Gen 5 is the one that peaked, it's the most objective opinion I've ever seen. With Pokemon Legends here, it reminded me so much of Pokemon Gen 5. The fact that there was a story implementation, the fact that there's actually things that matter because of the things that you do or the people that you've encountered, the fact that there are actual consequences to the actions that you've done throughout the scope of the game. All of that reminded me a lot of Generation 5 and a little bit of Generation 4. Obviously, this is a game that bases itself on that region, but this is a right step towards what Generation 9 is supposed to be moving forward. It's what Pokemon is supposed to be moving forward. What an RPG has always meant to be moving forward. A continuation and an introduction towards something new and innovative. And Pokemon Legends does that. So again, by saying that this game shouldn't exist at all, you're negating all of that. You're negating the hard work that Game Freak poured into this game, way more than what Sword and Shield was given, maybe a little less than what Let's Go was given, but for sure way more than what the past few generations have provided for Pokemon. For sure, this is what Pokemon is supposed to be. This is a reminder of the older games, the fact that there is challenge to these types. There is a sense of exploration and a sense of nostalgia. The fact that you are witnessing history unfold for a region that we've encountered in 2007. that is incredible to me. That is hard work and dedication to 25 years of Pokemon World expansion and history and all that kind of stuff. And I can't just sit back and just let you say that this game shouldn't exist, where it's going to present a lot more for Pokemon in the future and just gaming in general. And so yeah, those are my 2 cents. Those are all my opinions and all that kind of stuff. And sadly, this is going to be a recurring thing moving forward. There's a new game and people are blatantly giving it its bad treatment simply because they just want to hate on something they never really quite took the consideration to think about and say, oh, you know, this game isn't bad. Sure, it has certain flaws here and there, but I had a good time. This game is a good time. This game is worth the amount of money, maybe a little less down the line, all that kind of stuff. I just wish people were more like Ant Dude, some call me John, and Scott the Woz in terms of looking at a game and, you know, appreciating the fun that they had with it despite the flaws that they've encountered in it. And that is something that I think moving forward with these disrespect videos is what I plan to do. Just, if you have an opinion on this game, wait until the very end or wait until some halfway point and not just the first 15 minutes of the game to just state your own opinion. And I feel like with the people that have played Legends, they've done that. They've only played the first half hour of the game and they simply said this game is trash, there's it, no more, and done. And while there is certain things that you can encounter in the first 2 hours, you're missing out on the goodness that Legends is providing for Pokemon. You're missing out on what makes Legends a good game and something that is truly worth playing for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I'm not even done with the game and I've poured 80 hours into this game. I've poured almost enough time as the main campaign for Persona 5, and that shows how much love and dedication Game Freak poured into this game. How much love that they wanted to give to the fans. How much support they wanted the fans to give to this game. And by simply blading and then putting a 17-minute video of you trashing the game with footage of the first 2 hours of the game, mind you, not even for like the entirety, like the entire game, that just kind of shows you that you're not trying to make Game Freak move forward, neither the Pokemon community, and it's just bad rap. Like, just there's no point in doing that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I want to end this on a positive note as always. You guys know that I'm a very positive person. I'm also a very honest person, so I guess that's also another reason why I like making these types of videos, just calling the things out for what it is, and hopefully we learn and all that kind of stuff. Clearly, if you didn't enjoy the game, that's okay. You can comment down below if you enjoyed or didn't enjoy the game, your thoughts on the game so far, all that kind of stuff. Just throw it all in the comments because I know I'm going to read that at the end of the day. I know you guys have a lot to say, whether you agree with me or not. I can already see everything that's about to unfold when I hit the publish for this video in the near future after editing and all that kind of stuff. But just know that I do this with love. I do this for the fact that I enjoy gaming. I do this because I love the games that I play, even if they're bad games. Trust me, I love them at the end of the day because I like to point out at the flaws, but at the same time appreciate the attempts that this game is going for. And obviously, yes, there are certain times where I will tell you to buy or not to buy a game. Look at Balan Wonderworld, for example. But each is to their own at the end of the day. So I'm just going to leave it off with that and then obviously roll down to the usual. So yeah, let's just do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for all the support as always. Keep being awesome. Keep spreading love and kindness to the world because I know you guys can and I know I can as well. So let's make sure to at least do one act of kindness each and every day. There's someone out there who needs it, especially in these times. Keep improving yourselves by 1% because by improving by 1% can go a long way towards making a better tomorrow. Know that I love you guys forever and always to 120. And I can't wait to see you all in that next fantastic video. Remember guys, stay freaking sexy and take care.